Sometimes, the greatest stories belong to those the world never notices. A quiet janitor, a frightened little girl, and a truth powerful enough to shake an entire empire. This is a story of power, silence, and humanity, of one night and one cry for help that changed everything. You're watching Real Lives, Next Chapter Media, where every story leaves behind a lesson worth remembering.
In the quiet corridors of a corporate skyscraper, a young girl stopped a janitor with words that froze everyone around her. "Please help me. They beat my mom. She's dying." The janitor, a man everyone ignored, became the center of a story that exposed secrets buried deep within the walls of power and privilege. This is the story of how a simple act of compassion revealed a truth no one was ready to face. The story begins inside the headquarters of Halverson Technologies, one of the most successful software companies in the country. At the top sat Richard Halverson, a powerful chief executive officer known for his strict leadership and flawless public image. Every morning, the building buzzed with executives, assistants, and janitors working behind the scenes to keep everything running. Among them was Daniel Carter, a 54-year-old janitor. Quiet, efficient, invisible to most. Daniel had worked there for years. He knew every floor, every face, but few knew his story. He was a widower, living modestly, sending most of his paycheck to support his daughter's education. To most employees, he was just the janitor. Until one evening, everything changed. It was past 8 o'clock. Most employees had already left. Daniel was finishing his shift when he heard hurried footsteps echo down the hallway. A small voice called out, "Please stop." He turned to see a girl, maybe 10 years old, tears streaming down her face. It was Lily Halverson, the CEO's daughter. She grabbed his sleeve and said, "They hurt my mom. She's in the car. She's bleeding." Daniel froze. He followed her outside, where he saw a black SUV parked near the loading area. Inside was a woman, bruised, trembling, barely conscious. It was Clara Halverson, the CEO's wife. Without hesitation, Daniel called emergency services and stayed with her until help arrived. But what followed would change everything. When police began investigating, it wasn't a random attack. It was domestic violence, and the suspect was Richard Halverson himself, the same CEO whose company policies preached equality and respect. Lily's desperate plea had not only saved her mother's life, it had exposed the hypocrisy of a man who built his empire on moral slogans. But there was something else about Daniel no one knew. He wasn't just a janitor. Years earlier, Daniel had worked as a cybersecurity engineer for a government defense agency. After exposing internal corruption, he was blacklisted from the industry. Unable to find work, he took the janitorial job at Halverson Technologies to survive. When news of the CEO's arrest broke, Daniel's past came to light. And during the investigation, his technical background helped uncover digital evidence that tied Richard Halverson to financial crimes hidden within the company's accounts. It was Daniel's quiet knowledge and his courage that finally brought the truth to the surface. This story isn't just about one company or one man. It's about how we see people and how we underestimate those who serve quietly in the background. Daniel's story challenges the illusion that power equals virtue. He had no title, no corner office, yet he acted with courage when others stayed silent. And Lily's bravery reminds us that even a child's voice can spark justice when adults refuse to speak. Richard Halverson resigned and faced criminal charges. His empire crumbled under the weight of his own secrets. Clara and Lily moved away to rebuild their lives in peace. And Daniel Carter, once invisible, was recognized for his integrity and strength. When asked why he helped that night, Daniel's answer was simple. Because when someone asks for help, you don't check their name. You just listen. In a world obsessed with titles and status, it was a janitor and a little girl who reminded everyone what real humanity looks like.